really so much fun to drive.
I'm such a huge fan of the car since it has been announced a few months ago.
But the car is perfect for conditions like that.
You can notice it when you touch the throttle the first time that it's way faster than it is supposed to be.
First of all, if you didn't watch our episode about the stock GR Yaris from last week, I strongly recommend you to do so by clicking on the annotation in the top right corner, since in this episode we already measured the car with stock performance on our dyno and did 100 to 200 runs on the German Autobahn. But now, let's check out how the power numbers look after our RaceChip GTS Black optimization.
Guys, welcome back to our dyno with the brand new Toyota Yaris GR. We finished the development now after several weeks. Took us a lot of time to get everything right. As you can imagine, this is a 1.6 T three-cylinder engine with already 261 horsepower in stock, so it was really important for us to measure all the different values to see if it's still safe and so on. So as I mentioned, it took us a lot of runs and tests and software files to get everything correct. We need 4 signals here, so we are connecting to 4 sensors. Installation is still kind of easy though, and the product will be of course delivered with an installation guide. So enough of the talking, let's walk over to the screen and see how much we got actually out of it. As always, thick line is tuned, thin line is stock, orange is torque, red horsepower, blue wheel horsepower, green is power loss. Important side fact, power loss is getting measured after each run on our Maha dyno, which is really important to get accurate results for the engine performance. So we ended up the development, finished it at 292 horsepower and 433 Newton meters of torque. If we consider the fact that the car had 270 horsepower in stock already, we are talking about 22 horsepower more, but a lot more torque, around 55 Newton meters more compared to the measured stock figure. And if we compare it against the value which Toyota is claiming, 360 Newton meters of torque, we're talking about around 70 Newton meters of torque more. Really smooth gain all over the RPM range, no dips whatsoever. Chart looks really awesome, and as I mentioned, took us a lot of time to get everything right. So I'm really looking forward to drive the car in the street, to see how it behaves with the tune, and to measure 100-200 if possible. So let's go. Guys, welcome back to my desk. We decided actually to give you a little bit more information and background about the development process after we filmed actually with the car. So we're gonna have to move that part somewhere in the video, but pretty sure we're gonna manage that quite well. So just as some short information about the Yaris GR, of course, there are some values which are really important for us, like exhaust gas temperature, air-to-fuel ratio, or lambda value depending where you're from, ignition timing, and so on. So that is what we are really checking during the development all the time. So how are the values in stock? Then we are writing the first map, see how actually the car reacts to that, doing adjustments based on the results, and yeah, that is like the process basically. I would say on average, depends if the engine is new or if it's just a modification from an engine we know already. We usually need around, I would say, 6 to 10 tries to get it perfect, and that is what we are basically doing for every engine with every kilowatt variant, so quite a lot of work, you can imagine. And here you can see as basically a log from sensor values we actually did a couple of hours ago on the car. If you want to know more about the development process itself, just leave a comment and we can see if we can manage that in one of the next videos.
Alright, so last time I drove the car it was stock. Now Dani did his job in terms of development and we're on the road with a lot more power. So let's see if you actually notice the additional power, and of course, what in my opinion is also very important, is the car still a good package or is it overpowered? But with the suspension of this one, I'm pretty optimistic. So let's see how it goes.
So we're looking now at 292 horsepower and 430 Newton meters of torque.
Wow.
As you saw on the dyno, we kept the behavior of the engine the same and just added a little bit more power and torque, and that definitely was the right decision because the engine feels great in stock already.
Wow, like, I mean, those of you who saw the video know that I'm a huge fan of the stock car already. Now with the additional power, it's just like a car like this hasn't been available as new car which you can buy for a lot of years at this price point. This is really like on a wet road in the winter, or even if it just rains, as it is the case here. Basically, there are not a lot of cars below 80 or 100,000 euros which have a chance of keeping up with this.
So we just added a little bit more, which helps to make the car a touch more aggressive, which is even more fun to drive now.
This kind of power combined with the suspension and grip that the Yaris GR comes with is unreal.
Our target during the development was to keep the behavior of the engine the same and just increase it a little bit. And that is what we actually did, and as I mentioned, definitely the right decision.
It's just crazy. What Toyota did here is so impressive, and if you think about getting a fun small car, this is the way to go. Yeah, it's more expensive than its competitors, but every cent which you invest is for a reason. This is so serious, and especially with the performance upgrade, it's just way quicker than it should be able to be. I'm hugely impressed.
So I think enough of the talking. Let's figure out by how much we can drop the time 100 to 200. If we can measure it, I mean, you can see the conditions. We'll give our best. So let's see if we can measure the car 100 to 200.
Well, 12.5 seconds is even faster than we expected, to be honest. If you compare this 100 to 200 time to stock cars in our list, it puts the Yaris GR in the same ballpark as e.g. a stock Mercedes-Benz E53 AMG or the Alpine A110. Compared to other tuning vehicles, it's just a bit slower than an A35 AMG with 345 horsepower, and it's 2/10 quicker than a tuned Mini Clubman John Cooper Works with around 330 horsepower. I've said it a lot of times on this channel already, and the Yaris GR just proves this point once more. You should never underestimate how big of an effect the weight of a car has on its performance. So in conclusion, the GR Yaris is a very light and capable car which, thanks to its all-wheel drive system, is able to put its power down in almost all conditions. And despite its small 3-cylinder engine, it keeps up with bigger 6-cylinder cars up to 200 km per hour, especially with a proper performance boost as our RaceChip GTS Black. With 2 LSDs and a carbon roof, it comes with specs which you would normally connect to a plus $70,000 car like a BMW M3, and you can get all of that for way below 40 grand. So for me, the GR Yaris is an absolute marvel of a car. It's amazingly fun to drive, and at the same time it's shockingly capable to deliver serious performance, which on a wet road is enough to give some rear-wheel driven sports cars the beating of their lifetime. With the GT86 and the new Supra, Toyota already gave us some great vehicles, but with the GR Yaris, in my opinion, they've built a car for which performance enthusiasts will praise them for a lot of years to come. Big kudos to Toyota for having the balls to do something like that in the modern times. What do you think of the GR Yaris? Would you be willing to spend 35 grand on a car like that? Post your opinion in the comments. As always, thank you very much for watching our latest episode, and consider subscribing to our channel and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future content updates. See you in 2021 and have a happy new year!